Today, we are diving into a really cool breakthrough in material science, one that could totally reshape how we store and use energy. And it's all thanks to what you might call a new super ceramic.
You know, when you think about it, so many innovations, from electric cars to renewable energy, even aerospace, are all pushing the absolute limits of what's possible. But they often hit the exact same roadblock. They need better, faster, and way more resilient energy storage. So let's unpack what that bottleneck is and how scientists are trying to smash right through it. To really get why this new material is such a big deal, we first have to understand the challenge. And it all comes down to the basic building blocks that power our world.
Now, when we talk energy storage, our brains usually jump straight to batteries. And for good reason. Think of them as the marathon runners of the energy world. They're fantastic at storing a ton of energy and releasing it nice and slow. But sometimes you don't need a marathon runner. You need a sprinter. That's where a capacitor comes in. It can charge up and discharge in a flash, delivering these huge bursts of power exactly when you need them.
But here's the catch. Today's high-performance capacitors have some pretty serious flaws. For one, they typically can't operate above 85 degrees Celsius. If they get too hot, their performance and their lifespan just plummet. And, to make matters worse, many of the most powerful ones use lead, which is a huge problem for the environment and our health. So yeah, we clearly need something better. So this whole situation set the stage for a scientific quest to basically invent a brand new material from the ground up that could overcome all of these problems. The wish list for this dream material was pretty straightforward. First, it needed a super high energy density, meaning it could pack a ton of power into our really small space. Second, it had to be rock-solid stable, even at crazy high temperatures. And third, it absolutely, positively had to be eco-friendly. And that means getting rid of the lead for good.
Well, after a ton of research, scientists developed a candidate that seemed to tick all the boxes. So, let's meet the hero of our story.
It's a brand new ceramic thin film with the chemical formula BiFO3.4/SRTiO3.6. Yeah, that's a mouthful, so researchers just call it BFST. Think of it as a very precise, lead-free recipe cooked up specifically for high-performance energy storage. But the real question is, did it actually work?
I mean, designing a material in a lab is one thing. Proving it can handle the pressure is something else entirely. So, researchers put this new BFSRT ceramic through a whole series of tough tests.
Okay, so check this out. What's really fascinating here is how this stuff behaves when you turn up the heat. This graph shows a property that's related to its ability to store energy. Just look at how flat those blue lines are as the temperature on the bottom axis climbs. That shows incredible stability, exactly the kind you'd need in tough environments like an electric car or inside the power grid. Actually, its capacitance only changed by about 9 to 11% all the way from room temperature up to 200 degrees Celsius. That is more than double the operating temperature of most conventional capacitors. It just blows past the limits of even specialized commercial ones. This is a total game changer for any electronics that run hot, from what's under the hood of an EV to the guts of a massive data center. Next up, they measured its charge-discharge signature. This shape, which is called a PE loop, basically shows us how the material stores and then releases energy. Now, for a capacitor, you want this loop to be as skinny as possible. A slim shape means very little energy gets wasted as heat during that cycle, which is absolutely crucial for efficiency. And as you can see, BFST has a beautifully slim loop. That awesome efficiency translates directly into how much power the material can actually hold. This chart shows the recoverable energy density, so the amount of energy it can store and then reliably give back. As you apply a stronger electric field, it's able to pack in more and more energy. And wow, the results were impressive. The BFST thin film hit a recoverable energy density of 18.6 joules per cubic centimeter. For a material that contains zero lead, that is an incredibly high number. It pretty much puts it in a whole new league of performance. And hey, remember that slim PE loop we just saw? This is what that actually means in practice. The material showed an efficiency of over 85%. So for every bit of energy you put in, you get more than 85% of it back out to do useful work. Almost nothing is wasted. So the million-dollar question, how does BFST compare to everything else out there? Well, on this graph, our new material is that solid blue line. All those red dots, that's the competition. You can see right away that BFST just blows past the other lead-free materials. But even more than that, it's right up there competing with the traditional lead-based materials, but without any of the toxic baggage. So the tests don't lie.
This material is a massive success. But what does a scientific win like this actually mean for us in the real world?
Well, the potential uses are just vast. We're talking about way more efficient power electronics in electric vehicles, better systems for handling the surges of power from wind and solar farms, and much tougher components for high-temperature places, like in advanced computer chips or the aerospace industry.
When you boil it all down, what we have here is a material that nails that three-part challenge we started with. It's an environmentally friendly, lead-free solution that's also relatively inexpensive, and on top of all that, it offers incredible stability under heat.
And don't just take my word for it. The researchers themselves concluded that BFST is, and I'm quoting here, a promising candidate for use in capacitors in power systems for high-temperature applications. That's about as clear and confident as it gets.
And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. We've seen the direct applications, sure, but by removing such a fundamental bottleneck in energy storage, what other technologies, things that right now are just sitting on a drawing board, will a super ceramic like this finally make possible? The future just got a whole lot more powerful.